Hey all, today I'm going to be telling you about the 5 money habits that keep you poor. You might find yourself at the end of every month with no money left, but not even realise that you yourself are guilty of some, if not all of these habits. So today I'm going to be telling you about these bad habits and how you can break them to save more. You could use this additional savings to pay off your mortgage quickly or to use for investing. You just need to learn how to break those habits and replace them with good habits. But before we get started, be sure to drop a like down below and leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. Even if you just leave a comment saying hello, it really helps out my channel. The first money habit that keeps you poor is paying yourself last. And this is what so many people do and what you have to change before you can become financially free. But what exactly do I mean by paying yourself last? And most people get paid at the start of the month or the end of the previous month. They pay their rent or their mortgage, their car insurance, their petrol, go out for dinner a few times, maybe buy some new clothes and bits and pieces like that. And then at the end of the month, they save whatever they have left, which unfortunately only ends up being like 20 quid. And they get discouraged because they can't save. They can't save for that new holiday or that new house or the new car or to start investing. They just can't do it. Now what you should do, and this is what so many financially free people do, is pay yourself first. The first day after the payday, transfer say 200 or 300 quid from your savings into a separate account with a different bank that you can't access via like an iPhone app or something easy like that. Maybe open a different bank account with a different bank and don't download the iPhone app. That way the only way you can access that money is by going into the store to make a withdrawal. So you can kind of count that money as spent or gone. That way you can then pay off your rent or your mortgage and your car insurance and petrol, and then maybe you'll have some money left over to go out for dinner or buy some new clothes. But you might have to get some cheaper meals or maybe a little bit less clothes, and you'll still make it to the end of the month and probably have that 20 quid left. But what you've also got is that additional 200 or 300 quid that you put into a different bank account at the start of the month. And if you just keep doing that every single month, it continues to build and grow. And what you really want to do is combine this with getting a pay rise. So let's say you start by earning £2,000 a month and you transfer £200 to that separate bank account, so you've got £1,800 a month left to spend on everything that you need. Now let's say you get a pay rise up to £2,300 a month. What you don't want to do is then increase your spending back up to £2,000 a month or even higher. What you should do is transfer that additional £300 a month to your separate bank account as well. And in that way you're transferring £500 a month to this additional bank account. But some of you might say, oh, but Tom, it's easy to save more if I'm earning more money because I just keep my spending the same. And I'd probably disagree with that because it's human nature to always want more and more. I could guarantee that you'd find a different way to spend that £300 extra each and every month. Maybe you buy a few more pairs of shoes, or even just some more expensive shoes or expensive meals out. Or maybe you just go on one big night out with the lads every single month. But I can pretty much guarantee that you'd definitely find a way to spend that extra £300 a month. Now, interestingly, I don't actually follow this advice because I find that it limits me to only saving £200 or £300 a month. I prefer to take a much more frugal approach, and before buying anything, I always think to myself, do I really need this? And that way, I go through the month without really spending too much money. I don't really buy new clothes that often, and I don't really go for fancy meals out. And that way I can save everything that I have left over at the end of the month, which especially at the moment during lockdown tends to be about 60 to 70% of my salary. And the remaining 30 to 40% of my salary goes on like mortgage, food, petrol, and anything else. The second habit that keeps you poor is living your life like it's the start of the month, not like it's the end of the month. And this is a really, really bad habit to have, and it makes it so difficult to save and be financially responsible. But what do I really mean by that? And well, you know when the start of the month rolls around, it's the day after payday, you feel good, so you buy some new clothes, maybe a new aftershave or a perfume or two, and you go out for a big one with the lads. Or maybe you go out and buy something stupid that you don't really need, like a second or a third pair of headphones. Or you go out and get that tattoo that you told yourself last month that you didn't really need. And then you start making it through the month, and then you realise, ooh, I went a little bit too hard in that first week, better reel back my spending a little bit. And then it gets to that last week and you're practically homeless. You're living off cereal and beans. You're cancelling all plans left, right and centre because you don't have enough money to do anything, and you start walking to work or cycling to work because you can't afford petrol. Now maybe you don't have to live every single week like it's that last week of the month, living off cereal and beans and walking everywhere. That's a little bit extreme, but if you don't have that big old blowout in the first and second week of the month, then you'd have so much more money left over at the end of every month. Start being a bit more frugal and really consider if you need something, rather than just buying it for the sake of it because, might as well, payday was only a few days ago. If you're enjoying the video so far, then be sure to subscribe to the channel and ding the notification bell so that you can stay up to date when I post new videos just like these. The third bad habit I'll be telling you about today is trying to keep up with some of your friends' spending that might be in a bit of a different financial position. This is a really easy way to end yourself in a bad spot financially, and you'd be surprised at just how much a little bit of peer pressure can really impact your spending. At the end of the day, everyone's in a different spot financially. We all earn different amounts from different jobs, and we all have different responsibilities. Maybe you have a mortgage or you rent, or you live with family. Maybe you have kids or a girlfriend or both, or neither. Now you might find yourself down the pub having a good time. You've spent a little bit and you're ready to call it a night and go home. But one of the guys says, "Oh Tom, just one more. And you know how it goes, you stay for one more or two, and then all of a sudden 1 or 2 pints down the pub has turned into a big old £200 night out. Now this might be fine for someone that earns a decent wage and doesn't have many responsibilities. You might be able to spend £200 here and there, maybe even a few times, and still be able to save well over 50% of your salary. But obviously not everyone can do this, especially if you have a house or a wife and kids. You probably just don't have that much money left over at the end of every single month to be able to spend 200 quid here, 200 quid there, 200 quid here, so on and so forth. So don't go on a massively expensive holiday just to spend some time with them. And don't go and buy all the same expensive clothing and expensive shoes that they might have if you can't afford it, because it's just going to put you in a much worse position later down the line. Bad habit number 4 is buying things that make you poorer, not richer. If you haven't read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, then it's a really good book to read. In his book, Robert explains what he calls the cash flow quadrant, and it's where poor people get their income from either their job or from their business, and they spend it on expensive things that make you poorer, such as car payments, loan payments, credit card debt, things to enjoy, and they don't have much left over at the end of the month to save. Whereas rich people earn money from their job or their business or investments, and they use that money and go out and buy income generating assets like property or stocks or bonds, loan notes and different bits and pieces, and that generates them even more money to be able to go and invest in even more products. So stop buying things that make you poor. Don't get into credit card debt or auto loan debt or just big payday loans for no reason. Start buying things that make you rich, like income generating assets. I'll leave a link below to some of the best books that I've read on investing. They'll really help you change your mindset and learn how to save more and how to invest. And if you've made it this far into the video, then be sure to share the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and check out some of my other videos. Now the final habit that keeps you poor, and this is one that I was guilty of myself, is waiting too long to invest. I used to take the opinion that, why should I bother investing now? Why should I bother investing £100 or £200 or £500? I should probably just wait until I'm 30 or 40, because then at least I'll have a spare £10,000 or £20,000 to invest with. And to some extent I do agree with this, because there's not much point opening a stock trading account with a tenner and getting excited over a 50p profit, or opening a high interest rate savings account and depositing £100 and looking forward to that £2 of interest at the end of the year. But if you start investing at a young age, it teaches you about the basics of investing. It teaches you how to stay calm when there's real money on the line, and it teaches you that maybe you should cut your losers instead of letting them run with the hopes that they turn into gains. It teaches you to be selective with investments that you make and to do research instead of just jumping on a bandwagon. and it teaches you how to save and how to budget your money and your spending. And it teaches you how to survive with the money that you have in your account right now. And then when you do start earning more and more through passive income or investments or jobs or a business, then you'll have all of those skills to take full advantage of that additional money. As always guys, if you enjoyed the video, then feel free to check out some of my other videos. Alternatively, subscribe to the channel and ding the notification bell, because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers!